Everyone, and oops. Hi everyone, and welcome to today's class. Thank you for joining us. My name is Birgit Koopsen and I'm a brand ambassador for Gelli Arts. And today we're going to do some image transfers, and maybe you've noticed that lately the gel printed image transfers are very popular. But not everybody has success doing them, and this is a different way of doing image transfers. And I think if you are unsuccessful with the printed image transfers, or if you just want to try something different or something else, then this is going to be a fun class for you. So we're going to create a couple of backgrounds just to show you real quick how you can make the best backgrounds for image transfers. But most of the class will be about how to do the image transfers on top of your gel prints. So today I'm using my 5x7-inch Gelli Arts Gel Printing plate, which I have here secured on my table with some tape so it's not moving everywhere. And I'm going to show you first a couple of samples using image transfers so you have an idea of what we are going to do. So here I have a little book which I made a while ago for a workshop about image transfers. And so I have image transfers of my own photos on every page. And I'm going to show you how you can edit your, or I'm going to explain to you how you can edit your own photos to make them suitable for image transfers, and also talk about image transfers that you can find or photos that you can find online to use for image transfers. So here I have another one of my daughter playing the guitar, which I transferred onto gel printed background. And this little book that I just showed was also completely made out of gel prints. And here's another one. And I also used one for the cover here. And here I actually used a couple of different image transfers in different sizes also. So I printed them in different sizes. And this is a manhole. How do you call it? It's the lid that's on a manhole, like in New York, of which I took a picture when I was visiting, and I turned it into black and white and used it to add elements to my background. So you can do fun stuff with image transfers. And to get good image transfers, you need black and white photographs printed on a laser printer. So you cannot use inkjet printer or inkjet prints, because inkjet prints are water soluble and you need matte medium to apply the photo to your background. And if you would do that on an inkjet print, then you would just wipe away the ink and make it totally blur. So you need laser prints. And then you have to make sure that they have high contrast. The higher the contrast, the nicer your image transfer will be, because all the gray and black on your photograph will be transferred to your background. And if you have a lot of gray areas, so for instance, if the face would still be a light gray, then that would also transfer and then cover the color of your background. So you want to make sure that your the contrast of your photos is very high. Now, there are a lot of people out there who are very capable of using Photoshop or similar computer programs, but I don't know how to work with Photoshop. So I downloaded an app on my phone, which is called A Color Story. And that's a very easy app to work with. You can just upload a photo, transfer it to black and white, and then you can put the contrast on high, and then your photos are ready to use. And there are also programs on that you can find on internet where you can turn your photos into black and white. So you can play a little bit with that. So these are photos that I found online, and these are photos, if you type in Google something like copyright-free black and white pictures, then you get a whole bunch of pictures that you could use. And so you have to make sure, if you want to use photos in your artwork and you want to sell your artwork, that you do not use any photos that have like copyright issues. You have to make sure that you can actually use them, or you have to pay for them to be able to use them in your artwork. But if you use it just like in your own personal art journal, for instance, then you can just use the photos that you can find for free online. And then here I have a couple more. This is my daughter on the guitar again, and some pictures, another one of my daughter, and this is one of a window that I made somewhere on vacation. And here is a photo of me somewhere in France on an airport. And I especially use these pictures to show you, because if you use words in your, if there's words in your photo, or even if you use photos of people you know, you have to make sure that you mirror your picture before you print it. Because the moment you transfer it to your background, it will be mirrored again. And so if you don't mirror it before you use it, then it would be backwards on your background, and you would not be able to read the text. So here you can see that my text is mirrored, and then when I put it on my background and transfer it, it will be the right way around. And also do it when you use pictures of people that you know, or pictures of yourself, because you would not think it, but people look really weird if they are, if you have a picture of them mirrored, because nobody has like a really completely, I don't know the English word, but that both sides of your face are not exactly the same.
Symmetrical.
Exactly. That's the word that I was looking for. And so if you mirror your picture, it looks really weird. So you should do that before you print them. So that's about the photographs that you can use. And then you have to decide on the prints that you can use them on, because you can probably imagine that if you have like a really busy background, that would not always work well with an image transfer. For instance, if I would use this photo and I would have a really busy background with a big pattern, or color is okay, you can have a lot of color, but big pattern mainly is an issue. Because, for instance, if I would have like big triangles or anything here, right here in her face, you would not, the photo would not like stand out, and it would look very weird. You would probably lose the nose and stuff like that. So you have to make sure that your backgrounds are kind of smooth, have not too much going on, at least in the areas where important parts of your image transfer are, like, for instance, the face. So you could use a gel print that has texture or patterns, just like, for instance, on the side. And if you have a smaller picture like this one, you could transfer it like in the middle, and then you would have the pattern on the sides of the transfer. Or you could make sure that you would have a background that doesn't have too much going on anyway, and you can put the transfer wherever you want it to be. Or even if you have a little bit busier background, but there is at least this area where you can make sure that the face gets, then you are okay with a little bit more going on here on the sides. And a print like this will always work. So you have to think a little bit about that. Now, probably most of us who are doing gel printing for a while have loads of gel prints already, and there will be a couple in there probably that you can use. and you don't have to make them especially for the technique. But of course you can, because maybe you want to use specific colors because they mean something in combination with the photo that you use or something like that. And then you can also keep in consideration where you put any texture or a more busy background. So I'm just going to quickly make 2 or 3 backgrounds just to show you how you can keep that in mind, where to put that transfer. And I'm just going to have, let me see, imagine that I am going to use this photo. So that means that I have about this wide somewhere on my page. I need a little bit less busy to put the image transfer on. Now I can make very easy backgrounds with, for instance, 2 layers. Just make a layer with color and 1 layer on top with a little bit of texture. And I always suggest to use colors as light, or as light as possible, because the photos are almost always in black and white, and you do want them to stand out. So if you use very dark colors in your background, like dark purple or dark blue, anything like that, you will not see the black and white image that you transfer then on top of that background. So work with the lighter colors, the brighter colors, to make sure that the background isn't too dark for your photo. You can actually also do a transfer with a colored laser print. So if you have a color laser printer, it doesn't matter that it's color, because the toner that's in the cartridges in the printer is printer machine is the same product as the black one is, so it will transfer. But you have to keep in mind that that's even more important that you have light backgrounds, because if you have lighter colors in your laser print, they will show even less than the black will, because there is no white in a printer. The white in your prints comes from the paper and not from the print. So if you have a black and white print, there's only black toner, there's no white toner. So you can never get a white transfer on top of your background. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. And otherwise, I'm going to show you when I do the transfer. So here I have a lighter background, and I want some texture going on here on the side. So I'm going to use, and here I can actually use a darker color, because I plan not to do a transfer on top of that area. So I can add a little bit darker color. And let me see, what am I going to use to create some texture? How about some peel strips? I'm just going to push it in here, and the lower parts of my peel strips will take paint from the plate, leaving some circles behind. I'm just going to put this on top of my print, and there I have some texture. There's still some on the plate that I can also still try to pick up, because I don't like to waste any paint. So here I have stuff going on, and here I have a lighter area where I could transfer my image, and then later I can add all kinds of things later. It's not like when I do the transfer that is the final step, and that my piece is then complete. This is just maybe the third or the fourth step that I do, but it's not the last step. I can then stamp on it, I can draw on it, add text, I can color it, I can do all kinds of stuff with it. So it is not necessary that your background is like finished. It's just a starting point. And you just have to keep in mind that you have that area where you can work on. So let's do one more.
Okay, can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
You mentioned earlier that there was an app on your phone that you could use to turn your images into black and white images.
Yes.
Can you repeat that?
It's called the Color Story. And what else can I say about that? It's called the Color.
Okay,
yeah, it's called,
I'm just going to put it here so everybody.
I think if you put that in if you open the App Store and you type in the Color Story, then you get this little color wheel. The logo of the app is a little color wheel. And I can't open my App Store right now, because then I would lose this. I'm using my phone to my phone is my camera, so I can't look it up on my phone for you right now. It's called A Color Story, not the Color Story, but A Color Story. And it's a photo editing app. And of course, like in most apps, you can buy all kinds of packages of different things that you can do with your photos. But the basic options that are on there are more than enough to do the editing to get a nice image transfer. So you don't need to buy anything extra to be able to use that. I'm just going to use this one again. And I'm actually also going to try if I can use this as a stamp and add some. Oh, it still had some wet paint on it. That's going to add a little extra to this print. And what else can I use? Let me see. Also going to use my Lego and remove a little bit of paint from here and then put it back down. So I'm kind of transferring the paint to an area where there's no paint. That's fun. Happy accident with the blue paint. It's just adding an extra color and some more texture. So this would be the kind of gel prints that you are looking for to do your transfers on. And I'm just going to put this one aside because I'm going to show how to do the transfers. Now, you have to make sure that your backgrounds are absolutely completely dry before putting the photos on there and doing the transfers, because when you start doing the transfer, you're going to use water to rub away the paper. And if your paint is not completely dry, then you're just going to mess stuff up. You're also going to use matte medium. You have to put matte medium on top of your background before adding the photo. So then you will just, with your brush, you will just mix the paint and get smears and stuff, and it will not look very nice. So just make sure that your prints are dry. So I'm not going to use these two because I want to make sure that I don't mess up while you are watching. I mess up more than enough when you're not watching. So I am going to show you how to transfer this lady onto one of my existing prints. And I'm going to use this one. And first I'm going to cover my surface with some with a paper towel, because I'm going to use the matte medium and water, and it is going to be a little bit of a messy process, but I think it's worth it. So I start with preparing my background, and I'm going to add a layer of matte medium, and I have here the Liquitex matte medium, and I really like this one for image transfers, because it's very fluid and it's very smooth, and you can easily create add a really nice and thin layer of matte medium on your background, and without thicker parts. And you really want to avoid having the thicker parts, because that doesn't dry very well, and then you're probably going to rub it away. So you have to make sure that your layers are really thin. You can use any matte medium. You can also use a soft body one that is a little bit thicker than this, but then you just have to make sure that you spread it very well and evenly. But as you can see, this is very fluid, and it's very easy to spread it without having these thicker areas of matte medium. So why do I do this? That's because I want to seal my background before I'm going to put a lot of water on it. So I usually choose for doing my image transfers on thicker paper, like for instance the recollection card from Michaels that I use a lot for gel printing. But you can also really well use like more watercolor paper, like a thicker. I think this is more like a watercolor paper, like a really thick paper, which is really nice to use for image transfers too. Because if you have like really thin paper, like copier paper, you are very likely to just rub away your background as well as the paper of your photo, and that's of course not what you want to do. So although there is already acrylic paint on my paper, which is kind of sealing the background already, I prefer to use at least 1 or 2 layers of the matte medium to make sure that all the paper is covered and sealed. Like for instance, here are some white areas where there's no paint, and I don't want the water to soak in and then ruin my background and my transfer. So I do 1 or 2 of these layers, and then my paper is ready to receive the image.
So Birgit, they're asking if you could also use Mod Podge for this. Do you know?
Well, I think that in theory you should be able to do it, but I think I've never used it, but it's very similar to matte medium, so I would not see why not. But the thing is, Mod Podge is, I think, glossy, and that's the reason why I use a matte medium and not a gloss medium, because I really don't like the gloss. So that's probably, it will probably work, but if you don't want the gloss, then the Mod Podge will probably not be right for you. I mean, you can also do the technique with a gloss medium, but I just don't like the gloss. So, but I have never used it, but I would say if you have it and you would have to buy something new, then just try it. And if it doesn't work, the worst thing that can happen is that you ruin a background and one laser print. But then you know. So if you want to do your transfer, as I said, you have to rub away the paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my photo with the right side down on my background, and then I will use water and rub away the paper. Of course, I want to rub away as less paper as possible, because that's not the most fun part of doing a transfer, the rubbing away. So I'm going to make sure that I remove as much of the paper that I don't need as possible, because the paper is only like a carrier for the photo, and you don't need that paper. So I'm going to get away as much as I can. And why am I not using scissors? Well, the thing is that you will never be able to rub away like 100% of that paper. And so if you look really closely, you will see a fine line where the paper ends. And if you use scissors to cut out your photo, then that line is going to be very sharp and show much more than when you have torn away the paper the way I do now. Because if you tear the paper, the edge is going to be softer, thinner. So it will show less when you do the transfer. So what I have to do now is first I have to, I'm going to apply. This has to be dry. The first two layers have to be dry. Well, it doesn't really matter that much, but I like to make sure that my background is dry before I start working on it. Because I always feel like if this is still wet and I add another layer, then I'm just going to wipe away what's already there. So I'd rather have it dry. Now I'm going to determine where I want my transfer to be, which is in this middle part. So I'm going to add a little more matte medium in the area where I want my photo to be. And now I'm going to use this as a glue. I'm going to use it to glue my photo down. And I'm also going to add it to the right side of my photo, because it's very important that every little area of my photo and the background has matte medium. Because if you have areas where there's no matte medium, then the photo will not stick to the background. And so you will just rub it away when you start the rubbing, and you will not, because it really has to be, the black of the photo really has to be glued to the background. And then I'm going to use something like a bank card or a key card from a hotel or something like that. And I'm going to push out. It sounds really, I don't know if I say it the right way, but push the matte medium from underneath the photo away. And this way, first I make sure that I have matte medium everywhere because I'm spreading it. And secondly, I make sure that there are no air bubbles, because when there are air bubbles, the paper will not stick to the background, and then also you will get areas where you don't have a transfer when you rub away the paper. Because paper that's not stuck to the background will just rub away and it will not give a transfer. The ink, it's not ink, it's toner, will not be stuck to the background. And as you can see, I'm using a baby wipe to clean the edges, because the less matte medium stays behind around these edges, the less it will show where the paper ends. Are there any questions about this this far, the technique this far? Because it's
well, there was just
a
one
lot of steps.
Yeah, there was one comment which is interesting that Lori mentioned, that maybe you could do, you print on tissue paper or a lighter paper. Yeah, tissue paper, and then do the
Yeah.
same process you're doing now, and it'll rub away easier. I don't know. Have you tried that?
Well, I wanted to say a little bit about the paper. So what I'm using is the thinnest copier paper I can get, the cheapest and the thinnest copier paper I can get. I once got an email from a student that did an online class, and she said that she bought a very good quality copier paper and she didn't get the transfer to work. And she bought really good quality, thicker copier paper. But the thing is, you have to rub away all of the paper. So the thicker your paper is, the more you have to rub. So it's better to have really thin paper. The thing is, if you use tissue paper, you cannot rub away the tissue paper because the matte medium will just soak through the tissue paper and also be on top of the paper. And once it's sealed with matte medium, you cannot rub it away anymore. But if you use tissue paper, then you also don't need to rub the paper away, because if you have really thin tissue paper, you can just glue your print on your background and the tissue paper will turn translucent and you can just use it as that. So you're not actually doing a transfer, but you're just kind of gluing your tissue paper to your background, and then you will also see your background because the tissue paper is so thin. But if your paper is so thin that the matte medium gets on top of it when you glue it down, then you can't rub it away anymore. So that's also, I don't know, I don't think I said it, but when I do this, pushing away the matte medium, I always clean my my little card in between, because I don't want any matte medium on top of this paper. Because if you have matte medium on top of this paper, you can't rub it away anymore, because it's like a glue. And you can rub away the paper, but you cannot rub away the matte medium. The matte medium is what stays behind underneath the paper and seals the toner. So you rub away the paper, but not the toner, because the toner is sealed in the matte medium. So once I've done this, I have to make sure that this is completely dry. If this is not completely dry and I put water on it, I will just rub away everything, because as long as matte medium is wet, you can just remove it with a baby wipe or with paper towel or wet paper towel. So this needs to be dry completely. You could use a heat gun to dry it, or you can leave it to air dry, and that would probably take about half an hour, a little bit depending on the circumstances in your room. But because I don't want you to wait so long, I already prepared one this afternoon, or for me this afternoon, because where you are, it's maybe even still morning. But a couple of hours ago, I prepared this one, so you don't have to wait for my image to dry. And as you can see, it's very smooth. There are no air bubbles. There are no thicker areas underneath. So this should be okay and give a really nice transfer. But there are always things that can go wrong, like with any technique. But then usually we have some solutions for that too. Let's just see how well this goes. So I have some clean water here, and I'm just going to put my fingers in and just apply some water on top of the paper. And I'm just very lightly going over the paper and letting the water sink in until I see my image appear. And then I also already feel that some of the paper is coming off. And I'm still not putting any pressure on it. You don't want blisters on your fingers, so you just do it very gently. It should not be hard to rub away the paper. If it feels like it's really hard to get the paper away, then you just have to add more water. It's just not wet enough. If your paper is wet enough, it will not be very hard to rub it away. So I'm just gently going to remove the paper, and as you can see, there my lady appears. And maybe I need a little bit more rubbing, or even maybe just lightly use my fingernail to remove those edges. As I said, sometimes some of the matte medium kind of piles up around the edges, because that's where you push it out from underneath the paper. So there's usually a little bit extra matte medium there, but you can kind of like scratch it off carefully so you don't see that that line where the paper ended so much. So once you have the paper removed in these areas, then you just stop rubbing there, and you just continue until you have the entire all of the paper removed. So in between you can use that baby wipe and just remove the loose parts, the paper parts. And then you can see really well where you still need to rub a little bit more, because as long as there's paper, the black will not be completely black. It will have this like white, thin white layer. So as long as the white layer is there, you just keep rubbing. Are there any questions that I can answer while I'm doing this?
No, I think we're all just watching. We're watching
me. You're watching me work.
We're watching her appear.
Yes.
That is such an adorable picture. Where do you find your pictures?
I just Google, and I usually just Google for black and white images. And if I know that I want a specific theme, or like an artist, or I don't know, you can just put it in Google. But if you do it in combination with black and white pictures, then there will be so many pictures showing up.
Mm-hmm. I think some people thought today was going to be about image transfers on the gel plate. And
yeah, well,
so
I thought maybe some people would, but it said in the description that it would be matte medium transfers. Yeah. And these already existed long before image transfers on the gel plate existed. But if you are interested in the printed image transfers, then we have a playlist on our YouTube channel where you can find a Michael's class that I did on the image transfers, and Marcia Falk, also brand ambassador for Gelli Arts, just a couple weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago or so, she made an amazing video that answers absolutely every question you could have about image transfers on the gel plate. And it's on the Gelli Arts YouTube channel, and I'm pretty sure that it will appear in the chat like now.
All right, I'll find it. Right, somebody asked if you could use a scrubby pad to remove the paper?
I don't know. It might be a little bit too aggressive because you have to be careful that you don't rub as much, so much that you also rub away the black of the picture, right? Because if I would keep rubbing here, for instance, if I would keep going on rubbing, then at some point I also would rub away this layer. And I think that with your fingers, when you do it with your fingers, you actually feel what you're doing and you have better control about how much of the paper you remove. And I always keep rubbing until my image is like, or the black is completely black while it's still wet, because no matter how much paper you remove, at some point when the picture dries, it will start getting that whitewash thin layer on top, because you can never, as I said before, never remove 100% of the paper, because then you would also lose the black parts that were like, it's, I think with a laser printer, it's like burnt into the paper. So there will always be some paper left behind. But of course, you want your picture to stay nice and black as it is here, and you don't want to get that whitewash on top. So what you can do, as you can see, when it's still wet, it is still black. So I always say, let's fool the paper and make it think that it's still wet by adding a layer of gel medium, matte medium. So if you put this layer of matte medium on top, then it will not get that whitewash. And of course, paper can't think, but if it could think, it would think it's still wet. And that's why it's not turning white. So now when it dries, I prefer to let it dry by air, because if you dry the matte medium with the heat gun, then you will still get a little bit of that white shine. Also, when you put the matte medium on top, sometimes you see a couple of little paper grains somewhere that you can then still remove. Of course, if you use a baby wipe to remove those parts of paper that you didn't see before, then you also have to put new matte medium on top, because you wipe that away too. But I think with this one,
Here's a good question. Wow.
yeah,
Does the transfer with matte medium work on fabric?
it does. It does. You can do it on fabric too. But it's the same as with doing gel prints on fabric. You have to keep in mind that if you have fabric with a texture, that that the black of your image is not going to go in the lower parts of your texture, and that you will get these like little white spots in your transfer. So the smoother your fabric is, the better the transfer will be. But somehow it's also the charm of doing a transfer on fabric, that it's not perfect. I mean, if you want perfect, if I want perfect, I can also just print on top of my gel print, right? I can just put it in my printer machine, my photocopier, and just print on top of my background. So sometimes you just have to go with the little imperfections. Like I'm pretty sure that I rubbed away some black here. This looks a little bit, I don't know. I don't think it looked in the original picture like this. I think I rubbed some of the black away, but that's fine. I mean, my gel prints are not perfect either. And that's also part of the charm of doing it this way, I think. So I wanted to tell you one more thing about these image transfers, and it's not something that I can show you right now because that's a whole extra process, and that would take a lot of time to show you, but I will show you a sample and then try to explain, because you can also do image transfers, colored image transfers, like the one I have here. So I think I used this photo to do this transfer. And as you can see, my transfer is colored. And it works the same way as when you do gel printing. When you make gel prints and you do several layers on the gel plate, then it's always the layer that goes on the gel plate first is the layer that's going to be on top of your print, right? Because you it's the same as when you would put a stack of paper on top of each other and you make layers. So these are the layers. And then when you turn it around, then the first paper that I put down is going to be the top paper. That's also the case when you do gel printing, and that's also the case when you do an image transfer. So if you want to color your image transfer, it would be really hard once I transferred my picture to color this, especially with acrylic paint, because how can I ever go only in the lighter areas to color that and still see the black areas? And the same with, for instance, the eyes, or when I go over the face, I will totally lose all of the shadowing, all of the gray parts. And here, like the stripes in her shirt, if I would paint it with acrylic paint, I could never paint like in between of those lines. But the fun thing is, if you color your picture before you do the transfer, you can just paint over it. Because once you've painted it, you're going to turn it around, do the transfer, and the black of the picture will be on top of the paint. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Because you can go over the hair completely. You don't have to consider darker areas or lighter areas. I just painted her whole shirt with green and yellow, and I didn't look at where the lines were or whatever, because when I do it like this, the black is on top of the color. And acrylic paint basically is the same as a matte medium or any gel medium for that matter, except that in the acrylic paint there is pigment added. But if this will stick in a matte medium, it will also stick in acrylic paint. And it doesn't matter how many layers of matte medium or acrylic paint there are between my paper and my background. So I can just color my picture and then follow the exact same process. So I have my colored picture. I apply matte medium to my background. I apply matte medium to my colored picture. I turn it around and I follow exactly the same process. But when I rub away the paper, it's not only the toner from the laser print, but it's also the acrylic paint that stays behind on the background. So that's a fun thing that you can add to your transfer. I don't know if I have more of those in here. Here I have another one. Here's the guitar again, and I painted the jeans. And also when you do the color transfer, if you color your entire picture, then it also doesn't matter how much is going on in your background, because the acrylic paint of your transfer is covering up. You don't have any open areas. Like with this picture, if I would do the transfer without coloring it, then the color of my background would show in her face. But if I already colored her face, you won't see the background anymore. So it doesn't matter on what area of my background I do my transfer. So that's an extra step that you can do, but I would suggest that you try doing just the black and white transfers before you start also coloring your transfers, because I might have made it look very easy to do, but I know from experience, teaching experience, that it is, you need to get the hang of it. So you have to calculate, I don't know if that's the way to say it, but you have to, it might not be perfect the first couple of times that you do it. But you will figure out what's going wrong. I'm pretty sure that when you rub away the paper and there's a big area where the ink did not transfer, that you can think, oh, maybe there was an air bubble, or maybe my matte medium was not dry, or maybe I did not push away the excess matte medium enough, stuff like that. You just have to have everything right to get a perfect transfer. But if you don't have a perfect transfer, then there are also still ways to fix that. For instance, in this picture, I totally wiped away this girl's hair here, and because the photo was like this, and there was something in the area here, and there was a big air bubble, and I totally wiped it away. But because this is like a really intense black and white, you can also use a really black stamping ink and stamp in any areas that you rubbed away by accident, and make it look as if you intended it to be there. So you can always kind of fix stuff. You can also use a black pen and draw in little areas that you missed. The only thing that really messes it up is when you lose an eye or the nose or something like that, for instance. You don't want that. But if you mess up little areas in around, then there are always ways to fix that. You can always put something in there and make it work. But just keep in mind, the first one might not be perfect, but don't give up, because once you know how to do it, it's really not that much work, and you can do it quite fast, and you can do really fun stuff with it. So are there any more questions about this?
No, I mean, well, there was one last one, maybe you want to talk about it, which is about using, do you have to use water-based mediums, or could you use solvent-based or oil-based paints?
For coloring these pictures?
Yes.
For this?
Mm-hmm.
No, that needs to be acrylic paint, because it needs to be permanent, because it's the same as with the inkjet print. If I would use a water-soluble paint and I would rub away the paper with the water, I would just rub away the medium that I use to color my picture. It's like the matte medium. It needs to be permanent and it needs to be dry before you rub away the paper. So I don't know, I have never tried. For instance, you also have inks that dry permanent. So I would assume that you could use those too, but I don't really think that it matters what specific product you use, as long as it is permanent. It needs to be permanent. If it's water soluble, it will not work. Yeah, I think I told you everything about doing matte medium image transfers right now. And so I realized this was a lot of information, but the good thing is this has been recorded, and within 48 hours it will be available on the Michael's website. And then also we will add the link to our playlist on our Gelli Arts YouTube channel, and you can also find it there, and you can rewatch it if you forgot about the process. And I hope you make some beautiful art. And if you do, and if you share, please tag us at Gelli Arts or me at Birgit Koopsen, because we would really love to see what you create. And for now, I want to thank you for being here today, and I hope to see you again for some other class in the near future. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye.